Good afternoon from Bali, everyone. It's Cindy Annan from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I thought I would talk about my contemplation about culture. And culture, you might know why that this might be on my mind because, of course, I'm in a new culture, I say loosely, a new culture that also feels just like me. Yet, people would say this is Balinese culture, and of course, people in Canada might say that they have a Canadian culture. Yet in North America, oftentimes people feel that, oh, we don't really have a culture because we don't really have a particular style of doing things. And Europe might have culture, but we don't have culture because we're not as long-standing, perhaps. There's not the history in Canada that we might link with Europe. Yet, just yesterday, I was speaking with someone about the finding of dinosaur bones in Drumheller in Alberta. So things like this, we have culture. We definitely have culture. We have a history and we have a culture. And I would say what I know about Canada is oftentimes Canadians are seen as a culture of kindness, that there's a kindness, there's a politeness, and certainly that could be Canadian. Yet in Bali, that's what I hear most about Balinese too, that I hear about the kindness that is here in Bali. And I agree. And it's in Canada too. So this is interesting. So I thought I would start with this first quotation, which says, this is by Ralph Waldo Emerson, by the way. It says, culture opens the sense of beauty. This is culture. Culture opens the sense of beauty. Now, culture, again, a lot of people would link with different things like a person is cultured if they know really music that's very deep. So let's say classical music. If someone really knows classical music, they're very cultured. If someone knows artists that are very well known and very good in their work based on someone or many people's definition of what's very good, and often that includes the artist is dead, recognizing that, oh, when the person knows that this is by this artist and is able to figure out that this is by this artist, that's a very cultured person. And it's interesting because, of course, Vedas also talk about culture. And it's not just Vedas. I do believe that spirituality in general talks about culture, and the Vedas do specifically, which I will share with you today. And this quotation that I came across next, I thought was really fitting in terms of culture. So this one is by James Bailey, and it says, we as a culture are forgetting that we are actually natural organisms and that we have this very, very deep connection and contact with nature. You can't divorce civilization from nature. We totally depend on it. Now, a lot of people would link this with environmentalism and saving the planet in terms of nature. Are we saving our nature? Because our nature is truly the same nature that is in nature around us. And our nature is sometimes clouded by our personalities, our opinions, our judgments, our beliefs, our fears, our judgments. All of these things cloud our natural nature. And our natural nature is what is long-standing, eternal, and forever. This feeling of awareness allows us to recognize that we are nature and that is our nature. So nature is itself. I know one of the examples that is often used in spirituality is the sun. The sun it shines light. It shines light no matter where it is or who it's shining on. It doesn't say, well, I shine on the doctors, but I don't shine on the patient. I shine on North America, but I don't shine in Europe. I shine in Bali, but I don't shine here, right? So the sun is light, and we know that the sun shines on everything. And we are that nature that if we're really sensitive to our culture as human beings, we are the same as nature in that we don't need to change for anything around us, that our nature, our inherent and perfect nature, can come out in every situation, in every person, or towards every person, or towards everything, a sense of love and compassion, a sense of beauty, as I mentioned. So I thought I'd mention that in the Vedas, in Sanskrit, culture is defined as refinement, a process of refinement. It's this culture, again, defined as a set of values practiced by a people of a particular geographical area for the benefit of society to integrate the people. For the benefit of society to integrate the people. It was interesting when I first came to Bali last year. I actually had looked at just government information and saw that that was part of the statement of the vision for Bali was about this integration and this valuing of diversity. And so interesting because I wouldn't necessarily say that diversity outside of Bali is valued in Bali from my experience. There is an appreciation if there is someone who buys a property that belongs to a Balinese, but suddenly that owner has made money on the land that he sold to someone from a different culture. And then there's a little bit of biased disappointment and or judgment. And it happens on both sides. So what is the culture that we are coming from? So this is interesting because we often link things to the external world that, oh, this geographical area, this particular area is this culture. And we like to have these sorts of limitations on what we think. And if, yeah, we know that we are all mankind. We know that we all are all human. We are all on this planet. We are on Earth. And isn't that the cultural geographical location? The one thing about culture, again, this external identification, it could be with clothes, it could be with the location someone is living, it could be with the profession that someone holds, it could be with a sex, a male, female, or other gender. And this is an interesting identification for ourselves of how we might not be looking at integration, and nature integrates. So if we come back to our inherent nature, which is this cultured space of processive refinement, we would be the same whether we are in Bali, whether we are in Canada, as I am, and whether we are speaking to a person from Europe, or whether we are speaking to someone from Russia, or whether we are speaking to someone from Canada. Again, this refinement, this is the process of refinement that is within. Now, a lot of people think of this process of refinement as outside. So again, when I can understand art and really understand big artists, I might not understand myself. I might be fearful of saying, I really like this artist, which is an unknown artist, and yet, isn't that beautiful? For my eyes, I see beauty in this. So again, when I limit it to, this is what other people think this is cultured, and I follow that, I'm not following true nature. So this is a big awareness that we can have that, again, the location, the language, the profession, the geography does not differ for the same goal that we're looking at. This oneness that many spiritual traditions, or maybe all, and I would say all religions too, when we think of this acceptance area of accepting all others, it's not just if they become my religion, it's not just if they speak my language, it's not just if they dress like me. I'd love you today to sit and reflect on this idea and recognize that when we are true to our nature, our inherent nature, that which is unchanging and everlasting, it is not about age, it's not about color, it's not about race, it's not about success financially, it's not about anything, it's not about size of home. You know this, we know this. Do we practice from that space? Do we value each other person as much as we value ourselves? Or do we value everything else more than we value ourselves because we think, oh, they're always so much better. Other people are always doing so much better. They look better, they talk better, they sing better, they dance better, all of these things. And yet what have we put onto culture? Those are the things that we think is culture. The culture is that internal refinement. I wanted to bring us back to this basic idea, and I hope that today you spend some time with some refinement of your internal space and recognize you are the same as nature, and come back to that beautiful, simple nature that loves all and has compassion for all and shares your own beauty with all. I wish you a fantastic day ahead, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.